Hello and welcome back to Training on the Go. Now today we're going to talk about if you should buy the property in your own name or in a limited company. Now, first of all, you need to consider what your long-term strategy is. So your long-term strategy is essential to know because that defines your business plan, and your business plan defines what first steps you need to take in order to get into property. Now, there are advantages of owning properties in the limited companies. However, it's not always strictly necessary to have a limited company in order to buy the properties. First of all, your long-term strategy will tell you if you're going to buy 2, 3 properties, or if you're going to buy 10, 20 properties or more than that. Now, if you want to aggressively grow your own portfolio, then probably it's a smarter way to get into, to buy with a limited company, to incorporate your business. However, if you're doing it just for fun or to get a pension, a retirement money, then you want just to buy 1 or 2 or probably 3 properties. I would say up to 4 properties is not necessary to have a limited company, but that depends again on what you want to do next. If your business plan says, I just want to get 2 or 3 properties, then it's not worth considering limited companies because the advantages of limited companies have been diluted over the years. Now, first of all, remember, I'm not an accountant, so please speak to an accountant and to a financial advisor. They can advise you the best on these things. I'm just giving you my own opinion and what I would do in your position. So the advantages of limited companies were basically 4. Now, these 4 advantages are, first of all, tax advantages, corporation tax. You don't pay income tax in the limited company, but you pay corporation tax. At the moment, today, corporation tax is 19%. So you have to consider, for example, if you are a low rate taxpayer, then you're probably paying 20%, 21%. So compared to corporation tax, there's no much difference, although still corporation tax is a bit better. Now, if you're a high rate taxpayer and then you're paying 40 or plus percent in income tax, then of course you don't want to add more income on your personal name and you want to consider limited company, because whatever you earn with limited company up to a certain point is still 19% corporation tax. The second advantage of having a limited company compared to personal name is the Section 24. Now, Section 24 was also called the anti-landlord tax. You could offset the interest payment of your mortgage against your profit before paying tax. So let's say, for example, you take, £1,000 a month rent, and then you have £600 mortgage payments and etc. expenses, then your profit will be £400. Now, I'm not including any voids, maintenance or anything. I'm just keeping it simple so you can calculate in this example in the simplest way. So let's say £600 mortgage payments and £400 profit. Now, your tax was calculated based on the £400 profit because you could offset the interest payment against the profit. However, with Section 24 in your personal name, you cannot do this anymore. Basically, you're earning £1,000 a month, and it doesn't matter what your mortgage is, you still calculate your profit, so your tax is calculated on the full £1,000 a month. Of course, for many landlords, this was a breaking point and they were exiting the property market. Therefore, they put lots of property on the market. There was a lot of stock available, and that will happen the last 4 or 5 years when these Section 24 phased in. Now, the limited company is not affected by Section 24. So if you have a property in a limited companies, you can still offset the mortgage interest payment against the profit. And that is a good thing about the limited company. Not only that, Section 24 is not affected by serviced accommodation, and Section 24 is not affected by commercial properties. So that tax, anti-landlord tax, basically was mainly targeted at people, let's say non-professional landlords. They only have a few properties in their own name or even more properties in their own name, but they never incorporated their business. So if you're starting out, it's worth considering, what is my long-term strategy? Am I going to grow a lot? In that case, yes, let's do it in the limited company because there are several advantages. Now, advantage number 3, of course, was the personal liability. Now, with the limited company, you had a limited liability by the name, right? So if you had property in your own name, then you had a personal liability of still be responsible for anything that happens to the property. In the case of the limited company has the liability but not you. However, lately all the lenders or the banks ask you to sign a personal guarantee on their mortgage before giving you the mortgage. So that defeats the purpose of the limited liability of the limited company. However, if you don't sign it, then you don't get a mortgage. Simple as that. So yes, you can take independent legal advice, yes, you can think about it, but the reality is that if you don't sign that personal guarantee, if you want to get a mortgage in the limited company, you're not going to get it. Simple as that. The fourth and last advantage of limited company compared to personal name is the legacy. I think this probably is the only one that still remains into the limited company. You remember I told you that the advantages of limited companies have been diluted over time because of different regulations, different laws. Now the only one that still remains, I would say, is legacy. So whatever you have in the limited company, you can pass it on to your kids or to whoever you want. Now remember, you're not the owner of the properties if you own them in the limited companies, but you are the owner of the limited company, so you might be the director of the limited company. The properties are owned by a different legal entity, which is the limited company, not you. Now if you put your kids as shareholders in the limited company, then the day you're not there anymore, then the property will still remain in the limited company and your kids can still benefit from the profit of the limited company. It's different if you own them in your personal name, because as you know, there is inheritance tax and a lot of paperwork and bureaucracy once you're not here anymore to pass any assets over your kids. So the real question when you ask, shall I buy properties in the limited company or shall I buy them in my personal name, is it depends. It depends on your strategy. That is super important to consider. Speak to an accountant, make your plan, write down your plan, your business plan, and understand what you want to achieve from getting into the game of property investing. Because again, if your goal is just to own 2-3 properties, then it's not worth incorporating your business and getting a limited companies. However, if your goal is to grow and to live off the property investments, then limited company is the smartest choice. But always remember, it depends on your tax position as well. If you have a job, you want to keep your job and you are a low rate taxpayer, so that is still, you can still consider to have 2, 3, 4 properties in your name and then incorporate the rest. If you're a high rate taxpayer, then probably you want to start consider limited company from the beginning. I always suggest to, if you're just starting out in property, not to set up straight the limited company first. You might want to get 1 or 2 on your own name. The reason is because it's simpler to get a property in your own name compared to a limited company that was just formed. If you're buying a limited company compared to personal name, you have higher costs of running the limited company or buying the property. First of all, the mortgage interests are a bit higher in a limited company compared to personal name. The rules are a lot stricter in a limited company from the lender's perspective compared to a personal name. And also the accountant is more expensive to run, to do the books in your limited company. And in general, I would say the running costs of the limited company are slightly higher than personal name. However, there are advantages in the limited companies that are already explained. So that's it then. This is the video about personal name versus limited company and property investing. If you like this video, subscribe, let me drive, and like and comment this video, because I'm going to share a lot more content for you if you comment and I can answer back. So see you in the next video. Take care and see you soon. Bye bye.